Welcome to SIIWII News Digest, Supply Chain Talk, where we tell you the latest news about what's going on in apparel supply chains. So Europe has been facing an energy crisis, but what does that mean for the fashion industry? So as you may know, Russia had made moves to curb gas supplies to Europe, resulting in energy prices to surge. The resulting cost of living crisis has only just begun. Meanwhile, retailers are being squeezed between rising operating costs and softening demand, especially at the lower end of the market. The long-term impact could be even more dramatic than the pandemic. Austrian wood-based fiber producer Lenzing has even started joking that it's an energy-based fiber producer because powering the factories has become such a large portion of the operating costs. The retail business is experiencing volatility and cost increases, the likes of which I've not seen before. Some European manufacturers are simply shutting down or moving operations elsewhere. In contrast to the demand shock of 2020, now there's extremely high raw material and energy costs, as well as very weak demand. New York label Mara Hoffman have been experiencing delays in supply chain and has been open about it to its audience on social media. It's been a wild time of delays and shutdowns along the supply chain. The New York label is ordering more versatile fabric, prioritizing domestic manufacturing and shifting away from wholesale to mitigate the supply chain delays that plagued its summer collection. It expects many of the changes to be permanent. So Mara Hoffman at the moment is trying to focus more on direct-to-consumer channel and also choosing fabrics that can be used in multiple products in order to reduce excess fabric waste. Delays are expected to continue. Nearly 2/3 of global businesses with international supply chains expect that the disruptions will remain unchanged or grow worse by the end of the year. The biggest challenges are material shortages and the unpredictability of global shipping, including finding spaces with shipping providers. A key solution has been made to order materials 6 to 8 weeks farther in advance. That way, if a fabric delivery is delayed, the brand can repurpose the fabric and put it into another design. Also, domestic manufacturing is a way to defeat the unpredicted shipping time and also shortages of raw materials. Organic cotton, which was in short supply even before the pandemic, has only become harder to source. Mara Hoffman is working with US-grown organic cotton for the first time. Also, delays in product shipment has created uncertainty with wholesalers. Our wholesale partners are the ones who have to make the decision whether they still want the goods. That to me is the most heartbreaking if they're like, well, it's too late, we don't want it. However, now direct-to-consumer sales currently makes up 70% of annual sales. And overall, it's making the brand Mara Hoffman really think about its decisions twice. So speaking of apparel supply chains, is your company involved in the apparel supply chain? Then your next stop is SIIWII. SIIWII is a global apparel B2B network, allowing you to gain much exposure for your company and market your product to other companies involved in the industry. Create your company account today and become part of the SIIWII community, gaining a ton of exposure for your business and showcasing your products to many potential buyers relevant to your industry. And yes, all of that is for free. Create your free company account today using this link right here. An exhilarating community is waiting to connect with you. So with supply chain crisis and inflation prices soaring high, fashion garment workers are the ones to pay the price. Before the pandemic, most garment workers lived on subsistence wages, and few had savings to fall on when the crisis hit. This summer, inflation reached 7% in Bangladesh and India, two of the world's largest clothing exporters. Things are even worse elsewhere. Inflation hit nearly 25% in Pakistan in July, while tipping above 60% in Sri Lanka and approaching 80% in Turkey. But even as orders in countries like Bangladesh climb to record levels, manufacturers still face pressure from brands to keep prices steady year on year. Garment workers in key manufacturing hubs were already being paid on average roughly half of what could be required to achieve a decent standard of living in 2021. Most brands don't own the factories that manufacture their clothes. Long-standing and high-profile commitments to protect workers' rights and pay decent wages still remain in conflict with demand for low-cost fast fashion and thirst for profit. Thank you for tuning in to SIIWII's News Digest Supply Chain Talk. We are here bi-weekly giving you the latest updates about supply chains in the apparel industry. Also, create your free account on SIIWII today using this link right here. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We will be back very soon.